So this is golly. So this is gonna be a little series. Why I moved to Alaska. We're gonna, golly, that sun today. We're gonna be driving and we're gonna be telling stories about why I moved to Alaska. This one is gonna be about the job. Oh my gosh. The sun, please. Will you please cooperate with me? Please. Thank you. I should have gone. This was going to be called The Job. And we're going to keep going in a series, like a 3-part series. The job, the school, and the rest of it all of why I moved to Alaska. Gosh damn. So my job here in Colorado was, I worked at a museum, and an art museum, and I set up for events and helped plan events, and it was a job. The job wasn't the greatest. It got me money, but it was like so part-time. When I say part-time, I mean it was like 4 hours, 2 hours a week. There were some times where it'd be like, okay, well, I need you to come and set up for this. It'd take me 10 minutes and I'm gone. And I'm like, I'm not writing down 10 minutes on my time card. It took me 15 minutes to drive down here. I'm not gonna, I don't know. Anyways, I always just wrote down 2 hours because that was like just a minimum of 2 hours, because I couldn't even, if I were to write down 10 minutes every time, I wouldn't even be able to afford gas to get to the place, to get to work. And they'd have me, set up tables and chairs for these hoity-toity events that, 4 people showed up to. Well, you can't see my face right now. Now you can. Hi. So the job wasn't that great, but I had it. And then an opportunity opened up to be a security guard. Be still my heart, as I was going to be able to now wear khakis and a blue blazer to work and have a jingly keychain. The power. So I joined the security task force at the art museum. I did still have my job as an event setter-upper. I was pulling double duty. The security job was dreadfully boring. I would sit in a room and I would watch cameras. And then every 30 minutes, I would get up and I would do a security perimeter walk, where I'd walk around the building and make sure there was no tomfoolery afoot. And then after my security perimeter walk, I would go and I would log that I walked. I'd write down at 1,400 hours, Keegan walked the perimeter inside and outside of the building, and checked all of the things that needed checking. And there was a fun time. There was a fun thing that happened. And there was a kid in our Native American area. He picks up this pot. I think it was a pot. He picked it up. You don't pick things up in a museum that are worth more than your life. Because he was a snotty little sticky kid, so he probably wasn't worth very much. Anywho, I apprehended the child. I didn't apprehend him. That sounds like I kidnapped him. I approached the child and said, "Excuse me, sir, I'm taking this back. You shouldn't touch things in a museum, little boy." And I grabbed the pot out of his hand, and his parents came over. Oh my goodness, what had happened? Child is running around with a priceless artifact from Native American history. How do you not know that? They were like, "Oh my gosh, we are just so sorry for everything. Oh, we are usually just so good at this music. Usually he is just so well behaved." And I'm like, yeah, it was just this one time, right? The one time he decides to misbehave was here. Normally your child's so much better than that. Normally your child doesn't go into strangers' houses and take their things. Yeah, just this one time. Right. I'd get access to some cool areas, to the underground bunkers, where they used to store art during wartime, to the other art storage area where they would just store Creepy Jesus. Creepy Jesus was the greatest artifact that this museum held. Creepy Jesus was a 3/4 life-size statue of our Savior, Lord and King. Jesus, three-quarters Jesus, was bleeding. So he's a bleeding 3/4 Jesus, bleeding from his face, because he had just atoned for our sins when the artist captured this in his mind. He's got this creepy ventriloquist doll face, 3/4 now, life size. And he got this red robe on. You know, we couldn't have made it any less creepy. So, nonetheless, every time I would turn a corner at night, and guess who was always there around this one corner? Creepy Jesus. Creepy life-size 3/4 Jesus was always looking. Creepy Jesus would also move in the museum. I don't think Creepy Jesus had a permanent home. Creepy Jesus liked to be moved. Oh, there's deer. I don't know how to change my camera. There's deer. Creepy Jesus would just wander about the museum at his own free will. So then one day, I am 100% positive Creepy Jesus is upstairs, where he normally is. And I go downstairs into the bunker rooms, because I was bored. I was like, I might as well check down here to make sure everything's okay. No pipe leaks or anything like that. And there he was. Creepy Jesus, as I flicked the light on, right there. Blah! Get out of here, 3/4 creepy ventriloquist Jesus. I thought about breaking him. I thought about it many times. Another time, during a wedding, I was on guard, patrolling, trying to keep the peace, trying to keep the people safe from the danger that lurked from outside of the museum. And somebody tells me there's somebody that's been in the bathroom a little long. I'm like, okay, which one? Oh, the handicapped one. Oh, good. The one that locks. Good. I mean, the bathrooms like that should lock. That makes sense. That, like, the most inconvenient bathroom had to be the one that was a problem. It wasn't just like a stall that... So I go, knock on the door. Hey, is everything okay in there? I don't hear a sound. And then the lights are off. Oh, okay. And then I knock again. No response. Then I see a light. It's like a laptop light turn on. And then I hear typing. And I'm like, this dude in here writing an essay? Is it a homeless guy? Is it a college student that's having a mental breakdown and decides he needs to write his term paper in the stall or in the bathroom at the art museum? I don't know what's happening. So I bang on the door. No response, and I'm finally like, all right, well, I'm coming in. I'm just coming in. Your privacy is going to be violated. So I open the door. There's a homeless dude chilling there. Laptop, speakers, backpacks. I mean, like blankets. Like he's planning on, chilling there for the rest of the evening. This dude don't care. So I asked him to leave. He goes, oh, bro, I'm just trying to get the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, I don't even have the Wi-Fi. We don't have Wi-Fi here. Trust me. I know. Because I have to sit in the back of this building for hours without any Wi-Fi. So I don't even have internet. So you certainly will not have internet, my good sir. So I kick him out. That was the end of it. I was the boss that day. I was like, you know what, sir? You have to get up on out of here. This is my house. Creepy Jesus also lives here. Then there was the time of a wedding. Another wedding. This will be the last story. And there was another wedding. And the wedding was going quite late. And there was quite a lot of drinking. And I get a call on my radio. We've had a problem. Not to worry. Jay Walter's on the case. I'm gonna help. I go downstairs, like, what seems to be the problem? Here. Made it all the way from the other end of the building. I rushed over as quick as I could. Somebody broke a window. Oh, great. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what protocols are. They didn't train me for this job. They just said, sit here, watch the cameras, and then, report anything that happens. Okay, cool. I guess that was it. I guess that's what I did. So I go over to the broken window, and I'm like, yep, it broke. And then they were like, well, you're going to clean up the glass? I was like, yeah, sure. So I clean up the glass. Get on my hands and knees. People clean up the glass from inside and outside. Do I get a couple of particles of glass in my hand? You betcha. You betcha I get glass in my hand, because that's what happens every time I break a glass. I get glass in my hand. I love getting glass in my hand. I just love the feeling of, like, when you think you've gotten all the glass out of your hand and you go and, slide under your covers at night and a thread grabs that piece of glass and feels like it's ripping the soul out of your body. I love that feeling. So every time, regardless, doesn't matter, I always get glass in my hand. And I just kind of put a little tape. I put a little duct tape in the shape of an X right there, just right outside of it. I'm just like, yep, I helped. I did my job. So then that night, things are starting to wind down, and all the wedding guests are, being bussed to their hotel, and they're, having their way, and a lot of them are just staggering out because they're inebriated. And then comes the call. Another call. I get another call. Hey, there's a car out in the parking lot. You might need to go check it out. Okay. Yeah, sure. I love doing that. I got my flashlight to do that with, too. I go out to the parking lot, and I see a car, and I see a door open, and I see a hood open, and I see a naked guy sitting in the passenger seat. Why? Why me? Why me right now? Who wants to approach a naked dude with car problems? Not me. So you know what I did? I didn't. I left it. I just left him. That's not my problem. Nah, I don't get paid enough to deal with that kind of cheese. Nah, I just turned around and walked away. We are living in the 21st century. He can call somebody. Or if somebody notices him missing, they can find him. But as far as I was concerned, he was out of sight, out of mind. Because he was naked. And homie, don't play that. So that was my job at the Fine Arts Center, in a nutshell. I would set up for the wedding. I would patrol the wedding. I would tear down the wedding. Weddings. That was my job. It was creepy Jesus, homeless people. And watching cameras relentlessly. That's what I did. That's what I did.